What's good, everybody? Welcome to the Pull Up Show. My name is BJ Matthews, aka B. Just before we get started, follow us on the YouTube page, the Pull Up Basketball Podcast. Like, share, subscribe. All of our YouTube videos by hitting the notification bell by the subscribe button. As well, if you like donating to the Pull Up Basketball Podcast, you can do so through our Cash App right here. You can see on the ticker, which is $ BJ Matthews. Again, $ BJ Matthews. Or you can go into our YouTube page where you can see on the line where it says like, dislike, share on that same line. If you scroll to the left, you'll see the word where it says thanks. And you can donate us that way as well, right underneath this video on the YouTube page. And I also put the link into the comment section after this video. Let's get it popping. Okay, so I want to talk about a person who I feel like needs to be talked about. I think he needs to be evaluated. I think he needs to be criticized to a certain degree, right? And that is this man right here, Anthony Davis. Now, Anthony Davis is a unique character, right? People remember Anthony Davis more so in this sequence in the bubble 3 seasons ago, 2 years ago, right? This is the same guy since the bubble. Year after year has been, in talks of top 5 to top 10 player. Um, and he's been held, his spot has been held because of injuries, right? And that's what I really want to talk about today, because I think I figured out what is going on with Anthony Davis. Um, Anthony Davis, if you're talking about skill level, if you're talking about, measurements and his length and his height, his defensive capabilities, when he's engaged and locked in, 80 can be a top 5 player. If you're just talking about that, you understand what I'm saying? Uh, it looks like the blame is starting to be circled to Anthony Davis. At one time, it was Russell Westbrook who was, getting the share of the blame. Uh, Went from Russell Westbrook to, well, the team is just not that good, right? So they started trading pieces away after they lost to the Suns in the after they won that bubble year. They said we need to trade away KCP, we need to trade away, you know what I'm saying? Um, uh, Kyle Kuzma, Montrezl Harrell, we trade them for Russell Westbrook, and then we don't have enough money for Alex Caruso, so he has to leave too, right? But we got a super team, so we should be good. So it went from that until, we went to, the next season. We found out that it wasn't that simple, cut and dry. You sending your core players away for, one guy, Russell Westbrook, who does not fit, is not a perfect piece for this team. And they found out the hard way last season when they didn't even make the playoffs. They went 33-49. And much of the blame, if not all, went to Russell Westbrook. People said his poor play was the reason why the Lakers were struggling, even though I kept echoing saying that this team, they don't have the right pieces. If you put Westbrook on a team, like, say, the Clippers on our team, he would be John Wall 2.0. See, when it comes to hoops, it's not about who's good individually, who's not. It's who fits with a system and a team. You may look one way in one system and look a different way in a whole nother system. So it's just where you fit. If you're on a team where it commands you to shoot outside 3-pointers, well, Russell Westbrook wouldn't be probably the best idea to bring him in. If you're on a team that runs up and guns, then you probably wouldn't want a guy like, who is not really fast and, doesn't like to, get up and down the court, right? If you got a guy who the ball needs to move around, you probably don't want a guy who's, in the ISO who wants to have the ball in his hands all the time. You know what I'm saying? Like a Luka Doncic who, needs the ball in his hands. You need ball moving like Golden State. You got to be able to move without the ball. You got to be in shape, right? You understand what I'm saying? But back to AD. Anthony Davis is on a hot seat right now. The Lakers are looking to possibly open to trade him. They have been a disaster. Once again, this season, they're 2-9. This season right now, they just lost to the Clippers yesterday, 101-114. And I'm just seeing so many things with Anthony Davis that I've been saying the last probably year and a half that I think this guy's lost his passion, his fire, right? I said 2 years ago, I said Paul George was better than Anthony Davis, and people tried to, condemn me for that, thinking, oh, you're just a Clipper fan. That's why you said no. I say I'm looking at basketball. I'm a basketball fan first. I'm a fan of the game. I respect the game first. And based off of what Paul George did in the 2021 playoffs and how he was sending up and what he's able to do on the court for my team, I'm picking him over AD. So now it seems like people are coming to their realizations that AD might not even be a top 10 player anymore, probably even top 15. But there's good news. Anthony Davis is one of these players to me. The problem with him is his training. It's not his game. It's not how he plays. It's his training regimen. In the offseason, what I found that Anthony Davis does a lot of skill work. You know what I'm saying? Anthony Davis definitely is one of the skilled, probably the best skilled men in the game. He's more skilled than Giannis. He's just as skilled as Joel Embiid. He's just as skilled as Karl Anthony Towns. All of them can shoot. Jokic can shoot, but AD can dribble the ball. He can play both ways. He can, all that fancy stuff. He can do that. He don't like to play the five. He only likes to play the four, so he can, operate on the perimeter, right? Now, it's good to have skills, but you also have to understand the game. You have to be somewhat in shape. You have to have your body ready for an 82 game grueling season. All the pounding, all the wear and tear, you have to put your body through off season real training to prepare for that 82 game schedule. So when I see AD, doing dribbling drills and, being in the gym with this guy, the lethal shooter, who's probably one of the best shooters in the world, getting trained from him, I see a guy, AD, who does the same thing every summer. And this is why he continues to get hurt. This is why he's continuing injury prone. And this is why he doesn't, seem to be able to hold up a whole season. He has all these knick-knack injuries because he's not putting himself in the weight room in the offseason. He's not putting in the type of work that's required for you to last a full season, right? No reason why at 29 years old you should be getting hurt at levels like he's getting hurt every other week. He's holding his back, he's holding his neck, he's holding something. It's always something he's holding. And that's just because of his body is just not conditioned to, take the physical wear and tear. If he spent a full summer getting on a very heavy training, like he got, like Karl Malone, he needs to call Karl Malone up and, have him train him, right? And I guarantee he'll look completely different next season. But this is all AD's problem. This is all AD's fault because he's not taking care of his body in the off season. He's not doing the things that's required to be ready for an 82 game grueling season. And now as his stock has went down, where they're trying to look to trade him next season, right? And people like to compare him to Kawhi Leonard. They ask, well, why is Kawhi don't get the same smoke as AD? I'm gonna tell you why. First of all, Kawhi is a two-time champion. Second of all, Kawhi is no doubt when he's playing a top five player. He doesn't. He shows up for the big moments for the most part. He shows up for the big moments. You never question his game. But I'm gonna tell you the reason Kawhi doesn't get criticized the levels of AD because Kawhi, he had a major injury. He tore his ACL. So when you tear your ACL, you don't have control of, you know what I'm saying? You don't have control of that. That just happens. Kawhi spends time in the weight room. You guys can tell this offseason, he spent time in the weight room getting his body conditioned and ready. It's just, he had a freak accident with the ACL, and now we're in a position where he's having to nurse that ACL injury. It's not unnormal and uncommon for you guys to, have management over the knee, right? So, it's a position where Kawhi has to be able to, or I'm sorry, Anthony Davis needs to put himself in the gym, and I mean lifting real weights. If he does that for a full summer, then he will look completely different next season. But I think just after that bubble championship and him taking all that time off, I think it was like 5, 6 months that's why he was able to look the way he looked in the bubble. I just think be a killer, right? He should be the best player on this team, hands down. It shouldn't be LeBron James at this point in his career. So I don't know how AD even walks in the locker room and just is able to even look in the mirror, because it's like you should be the number one option. And if I'm AD, I'm telling LeBron, you shouldn't be shooting all them shots. See, people want to keep talking about LeBron is 37 years old, which is the reason why he shouldn't be trying to play all those minutes and shoot all those shots. At the end of the day, AD should be getting the most touches on the ball, because usually that's how they won in the bubble. That's actually how they won. It was AD getting all the shots. It was AD leading the statistics and all that stuff. But I got that same fire. He doesn't have that same fire because I think ever since he played as Giannis, I think that's when AD kind of got his. I wouldn't say his. Well, actually, I would say his heart took it. But I mean, I just want to, like, as far as injury prone, man, he can control that. Commit himself in the weight room this off season, and he has to stop just looking to just work on skill work and shooting. There's other aspects of the game, a whole other aspect of the game you got to actually do to be prepared for a 82 game season. But that concludes my video, man. What y'all think? Y'all think AD is still capable of being a top 5 player? Do you think it's over for AD? Do you think AD lost his passion and fire? How do y'all feel about Anthony Davis? All right, pull up, see, pull up, and check. Pull up. Have a good day.